fried rice. It's a fantastic way to use up leftover rice and any kind of leftovers that you have in the refrigerator. You're gonna wanna start off by slicing some scallions. I did 10 scallions. The white and light green parts are sliced and the dark green parts are sliced, but they're kept separately because the white and light green parts get sauteed and the green are just for garnish. 5 cloves of garlic, minced. These are very large, so I'm actually only gonna use 3 of them because they're humongous. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I make fried rice probably once a month, and I love it. Sometimes I think maybe my kids are getting sick of it because they used to really like gobble it up and now they don't as much, but I still love it though. It's one of my favorites. And I am not kidding when I say it's great for using leftovers. Like Thursday or Friday rolls around and I have like 1 pork chop or like half of a pork chop and a little bit of chicken, and I have rice in, you know, a container in the fridge or in the freezer, and I'm good to go because I always have ginger and garlic in my house. And even if I don't have scallion, which I'm using here, I make it anyway. It doesn't matter. And then this is Chinese sausage. You know, this is where those leftovers would come into action. If you don't have Chinese sausage and you want to make chicken or pork or whatever, just cut that up into small pieces too. This is a pre-cooked sausage, but it is going to get tossed in the pan with the aromatics. Once your sausage is cut up, you can start sauteing. I have 3 tablespoons of safflower oil, and this cast iron skillet has been preheating for like 10 minutes. Add 2 tablespoons of the oil. I'm going to save a little bit more for the eggs, which I'm going to add later. And then add your scallion white and light green parts. The scallion white and light green parts, 2 carrots that have been cut into 1/4-inch pieces, and the sausage. You're going to want the pan pretty hot. You don't want it so hot that things start to burn the minute you put them into the pan. But preheating a cast iron skillet is pretty key because they heat very slowly, but then they hold their heat really well. And I always use my cast iron skillet for sauteing and stir frying because I don't have a wok at home, and I like the amount of surface that it has. I think that it works. It's a pretty good substitute for a wok if you don't have one. So you just want to start getting this soft, cook it up a little bit, and then you add 2 tablespoons of minced peeled ginger and the garlic, which is about 2 tablespoons as well. This is the part where you want to be a little bit careful because you don't want the garlic to burn. So keep stirring and season with a little bit of salt. And it's flying everywhere. Okay, so it's starting to smell really nice and garlicky in here, and before it goes too far, I'm going to get my eggs cooking. So I'm adding another tablespoon of safflower oil. It can be any neutral flavored oil. And you just crack 3 eggs. You can crack them into a bowl. And then you don't even need to whisk them in the bowl. You can whisk them right in the pan, even though I have a tendency to just whisk as I'm going over there. But pour that directly into a little spot in the pan and then start whisking. You want your eggs to be soft set, not completely done here. You're going to continue cooking it once you add your rice. So cook it, whisking until it's almost but not completely set. Salt. This happens really quickly too, which is another reason it's a great dinner option. All right, that's good enough. Now I'm going to add my rice. It's 3 cups of rice. Cooked and cooled rice is the best for making fried rice, I find, so it's great right out of the refrigerator. Then what happens here, if you add your rice at the exact right time, it will sort of lightly coat your rice with a little egg. It's kind of undetectable, can be a little bit undetectable, but it gives this sort of really rich, delicious flavor. Sometimes at home I do a different method where I make a little omelet and I roll that up and I slice it, which is also nice. But I've gotten to like this method a little bit better. I think I overcooked my eggs like 10, maybe 15 seconds. It's a little more piecey, which is totally fine too. It's a completely valid way of having your egg, but I wanted it to be a little more coaty. So just so you know, maybe slightly less on the cook than what I did. But doesn't that look good? Super easy. I'm going to turn this down and then add some soy sauce. couple tablespoons is good. If you want to go with a different flavor profile, you can completely leave the soy sauce out. I sometimes just season with salt. Sometimes I add a little bit of fish sauce and a little bit of lime juice, which is really delicious. Not necessarily when I'm using Chinese sausage, but you know, you can sort of tweak the flavorings however you like. Last but not least, some peas. You can use blanched fresh or frozen. I use frozen. I always keep a bag of frozen peas in my freezer, and then I just stir them in completely frozen because I make all my food for dinner in the morning. I just like let them sit in there, and by nighttime obviously they're defrosted. And now that is it. I particularly like eating this for breakfast too, and even though there's already egg in here, sometimes I'll fry another egg and put it on top. Never too much. A little bit of scallion green, and then eat. It's so good and so simple. I bet you're gonna be making this 2 times a month too. If you're enjoying these recipes, make sure to like and subscribe, and enjoy.